Hey everybody, tonight we're going to be talking about the mechanical Cashew. I'm going to call it version 2 by GAO Studio. Version 1 would be the metal version. This comes in a variety of plastics, all the same kind of plastic, but a variety of colors as you see off to the right. And we'll talk about that in detail. There's more available than what you see on the right. A lot more actually. But I went with the red version, the red transparent version, and I got it from Three Eyes Fidget Toys store, and I'll be putting a link to that in the comments. I've dealt with them a few times and haven't gotten burnt yet, so we'll go with that. But yeah, we'll talk about the different versions that are available for this, and the ones that aren't, unfortunately. Do some comparisons. Do a little bit of a history behind the Cashew as well, and the usual, so please stick around. We'll try to have some fun. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of history. I'm calling this the V2. I'm quite happy with it, really. Some of these plastic versions, GAO Studio does a lot of plastic versions of their main products, and I'm usually not too satisfied with them, but this one is extra special, I would say. It's very much like its predecessor, which is the V1, what I'm calling the V1. This is, now I have it set up pretty quiet, but stainless steel, and it's got is it Delrin? It's not Teflon, but it's the black plastic, probably Delrin. It's 6 clicks in either direction. A little out of practice with that, actually. I've been using the other one so much. This feels pretty small. It is a little bit smaller, but this is the V1. This is I'm calling it the V2. Same kind of idea. We've got the tongue and groove. Those all lined up for you. And a little set of detents on the inside. Now, like I said, this is 6 clicks in either direction, and I've only ever seen it with 6 clicks in either direction, so there's no denser version available. This, however, has 2 different versions available. I can show you over here. One is just called the standard, I think, and the other one's called paragraph. And what I have would be the paragraph, or the less dense. And I believe this is 8 in either direction, and the dense version was 12. I want to say it was 12. It was somewhere in one of the product photos, and I had to do some translating to see what the photos were describing, but pretty good. Let's move on with this. Before these came the magnetic versions. This was the first magnetic version. At the time, I don't think I was trying to get everything red, but now all my GAO Studio stuff, I'll show you in a second, is red polycarbonate. This is clear or semi-clear polycarbonate. Sort of a blasted finish on it, although it's not rough textured. Anyhow, this one's the version 1, I called it. Not very exciting, not very loud at all. More of a texture thing. You get sort of 2 clicks in one direction, 2 clicks in the other direction. I could show it to you. It's pretty easy since it's magnetic. I've just got 4 tracks, 4 balls, and a series of magnets. And after that came the V2, which is 3 levels, but it's also magnetic and uses balls. I don't like the keychain attachment on there. It's a little strange, because this is something that could come apart in your pocket. Let me lift it apart here once. So the middle part's interesting, how they designed it. But other than that, it's basically a 3-level magnetic slider that's, again, not very loud. 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks in either direction, although it does function pretty well. There's more of an audible click than this thing, and there's more of a haptic sensation to it. So this would be an improvement. But there's the general order. Magnetic version 1, magnetic version 2, mechanical version 1, mechanical version 2. They might be calling this the Pro. When I look at the literature, the photographs that have the writing on them, when I translated them, that might be called the Pro now, but I don't know why they would call that the Pro whenever this stainless steel one is, you know, so much better because it's stainless steel, really. But this is available in a lot of different finishes, and it's very inexpensive. So we were talking, we didn't talk prices yet, but about $25 for the one I bought, and I only bought it because it matches. I had to have the red because it matches all the other red GAO Studio stuff that I have here. For some reason, I guess like this is one of my early pieces. I just bought white. Maybe this was not available in red. I don't know. But that's why I bought red. And you can also get a yellowish transparent version, and those, like I said, were about $25. The other versions, which I'm about to go over with you, you can either, well, I wouldn't buy the random one because the one of the sites I'm going to give you a link to allows you to buy them in whichever color you want. But when I first started to see these show up, one of the reasons I didn't buy any is because you can only buy a random color, and there's all these different colors available, and you didn't know what you're going to get, you know. And I figured, well, it's probably garbage anyhow, or at least it wasn't a high priority on my list. But I'm glad I looked into it. So these are 25, the transparent ones, and there's two of those, a quick shot of those. And then there are all the other colored ones, which we'll go through in a minute. And those are only about $15. So I think that's a pretty good deal for something like this. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Okay, well, before we get into the many different colors that this is available in, let's just quickly talk about comparisons. Because if you're here to buy one of these, you might be just interested in the details and not all the different colors and such. But anyhow, let's start with two. Actually, the only two that I have that function in this manner, if you exclude these three, I sort of call this a fan motion because a lot of things have that fan motion. This is a GAO Studio Rice Ball Rocker, I believe was what it was called, or the Rice Ball version 2. And it's magnetic with balls. I could open that up and show you. And it is very underrated. I don't see many people ever talking about this. And I really like this one. Of all the magnetic ones, I'd put this one up there with some of the best. So, fan orientation of the magnets, or they're in an arc. There's that one. We'll go with size here just so you can see. I don't know if anybody of you have this, but at least if you do, you'll be able to compare the size. Let's see here. Now, let's get the other fan-shaped slider. This one's mechanical. I just recently reviewed this. What's this called? This is called the something ballad, the Lucky Ballad by Kais, K-A-I-S. And it's very modifiable. There's a whole ring of detents on the inside here, which I have empty right now. I'm just using the detents that you can see up here. So this gives me, I believe, 6 with each stroke there. So 6, 6 in either direction. Big and bulky and heavy. This, of course, is as light as a feather. And two that most of you have or have seen would be the Mackie CP3. Not very fair to compare the two, or is it? One goes straight out, one curves like a banana. The B by Metal Toys DZ. And just because I don't think we really did it, let's do a side-by-side comparison of these. This is the version 1 in magnetic compared to the version 2 mechanical. This is the magnetic version 2, 3 levels. And finally, the mechanical version 1. Oops. Oop. Alrighty. Okay, let's do some measurements here. That is at 53 millimeters. Let's try this. About 22, so 22 all the way around. And overall thickness, about 14. When it's fully extended, we are at about 63. Okay. Now let's see how much it weighs. Now there are magnets in this I didn't show you yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just stand it on end. I think that's going to be good enough. There's only 2 magnets. Well, 4 altogether. 16.8, 16.7. Pretty light. Okay, I thought just for fun, just to show you the variety that's available, we'd go through the different colors and stuff and materials. And then after that, we will take this puppy apart. So I'm going to move off to the side here a little bit, and we'll just plop the images up here in the corner one at a time. I can't do more than 3 or 4 images at a time because I edit this on my phone and it doesn't let me do more than 3 or 4 images at a time. So, in order, according to my notes, this first one is olive colored, and I believe these are all PC or polycarbonate. Next one is red and white. Next one is yellow, black. Next one is red, black. Next one is green, black. Next one is black all by itself. Next one is yellow, white. Next one is pink, white. Next one is blue, white. All of those that I just showed you were in the $15 range. Now these two, the next two, are the transparent ones, the red and yellow. They were both $25. And finally, the ones, these are not available at all, they're out of stock. There are 3 different G10 models. The first one here is G10, what do I have there? I don't know what that says. Oh, multicolored. And then they had a G10 in a red and black, and then a G10 in orange and black. So I would have really liked to. I would have bought one of those if I could have. And then also, finally, I had to get these video clips off of a. I had to get these clips off of a video, so they're sort of a screen capture off my phone. But they did have it in 3 different woods. I don't know what the wood species are, but here they are. There's the first one, the second one, and the third one. So that is quite a variety. Like, I don't know what the pricing was on the wooden ones or the G10 ones. I think the G10 ones, they were out of stock, and if the pricing was right, they were also like $15, which is kind of unheard of, crazy. But that's it for that. Last thing we do, I suppose, we will take it apart. Okay, well, there's no tools required here. This is as simple as can be. If we look at it close, I was a little confused at first because this, of course, doesn't come with any instructions, but let me try to focus on it. You can sort of see some, I thought there were magnets in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and it's like that on both sides. But those appear to be, and I can't really show you on the camera very well, but those appear to be little metal pins that attach these colored polycarbonate plates to the POM plates that make up the internal parts. And I'm assuming these are all POM because that's what one of the websites were advertising these as, polycarbonate with POM internals. But it kind of confused me at first. There's no screws or anything. How do you take it apart? Well, when fiddling around with it, it just sort of popped apart in my hands like this. Simple as that. And I'll put everything back in order here. Very, very simple, but really, really well working. I don't know how else to say it. When you slide it apart like that, you'll find the spring and balls. You could put 3 in here, but I prefer to put 1 in the middle. I mean, you'll get 8 clicks either direction no matter what you do, but you can put up to 3 in there, and it does increase the strength or the loudness and the haptic feedback. Without the springs in there, of course, it slides freely. But these magnets here line up with these magnets, and then this portion, well, this portion here in the middle, this part is raised up in the middle, it lines up with this cavity right here. So when the two pieces go together, that's how these are locked in place. That's how it keeps them together. Pop that back apart again. Boy, that's tough. Strong magnets. But there are no balls to lose, and there's an interesting little trick I'll show you here. These, make sure it's in focus, these 2 little cavities can be used as a storage space for extra springs and balls if you want to. So you can run it with 1 and keep the other 2 springs and balls on the side, or run it with 2, or run it with 3. You always have that option available. Now, like I said, I only put in 1, whoops, and I just shot my spring off into the ether here. I'll have to go get a spare. Okay, I got a new spring, which reminded me that we have not done what came in the box, so we'll do that too. But if you're putting it back together, you just slide these pieces together, and then you can slide it out till one of these 3 holes are exposed for your springs. Like I said, I'm going to use the middle one. That's what I prefer. Oh, magnet got it. Drop that down in there. Put the ball on top, and then press the ball down with your finger and slide the whole thing underneath, and you hear it start to click right away. And then you're pretty much done. You just slap the other half on like that. And if I didn't show it clearly enough before, let me show you again. You'll be able to see a little closer. Better if I move it up closer here perhaps, but there's 2 little parts that stick up here. Those engage this groove and this groove. And then there's 2 little grooves down here that don't engage anything. But I imagine that they're there just to take away material. And there was no point. I tried looking at balls to see if balls would fit in these grooves to do anything. If anything, they would limit the amount of travel, which you wouldn't want to do. And the other thing was 3mm balls were too small and 4mm balls were too big. They just didn't rest into these cavities very well. So that's what those were. These 2 little lugs ride in these 2 cavities here. And it all just slaps together like that. And there's virtually no chance of it falling apart in your pocket. I did try it with 3 springs. I tried it with 2 springs. And what got me was I couldn't control the amount of clicks myself very well. It wants to, with too many springs for me, it kind of wants to jump. And that's the case with most mechanicals, I think. But once I put one spring in and I found out I liked it in the middle there, I'm really, really impressed with this. So, like I said, mine a little more expensive because it was transparent, 25 bucks. Most of them, 15 bucks. So I can highly recommend this one. And I'll be looking for it to come out in G10 because I would get one of those in a heartbeat. Well, I believe that's everything I wanted to cover, except for what's in the box, and that's not much. We'll cover that right now. This came inside of a cardboard box, inside of another cardboard box. This just pops apart. That was the shrink wrap. We've got the standard QC sticker, which doesn't really mean anything. Spare parts. We had a couple extra springs, which I just resourced one of them. And then some more steel balls. And then a little, I guess, certificate of authenticity and a few stickers. So I'll put this up here so you can pause that and maybe focus if you want to look at any of the details on that. And that is all I wanted to say about that. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye.